The Teach Pitch podcast. We are very excited to be launching a series of interviews for Teach Pitch, a global community of 50,000 subscribers from over 205 countries to date. And for these interviews, we have selected a number of subscribers who have achieved great things. And by great, I mean amazing. Think of former presidents, entrepreneurs, people who've built hospitals, huge non-profit organizations, successful journalists, doctors, etc. And what all our guests have in common is that despite their great success, they've encountered many enormous challenges. So what were these challenges and how did they overcome them? That's what we're going to be talking about here. My name is Aldo de Pap and I'm massively looking forward and very grateful you can join us on this journey. So sit back, relax and download the podcast here.
It's so interesting that the more I have pride in myself, the more I see it in others, the more I see the amazingness of others, the gorgeousness of others and others' ability, and the more I'm in that mood to collaborate all the time. It's all connected. The more you like yourself, automatically the more you like others. The more you trust yourself, you trust others.
So excited to bring to you another interview from the World Innovation Summit for Education. And, I feel so blessed and I feel so happy. And it's so meant to be, I feel like that I should be doing this podcast. I know that sounds weird and kind of very cheesy, but when I get guests like the ones we have today, then I really feel like, what have I done to deserve this, right? Because here's another princess, the second one in our short career as podcasters thus far. We had Princess Laurentien from the Netherlands in season 1, and now we're practically opening season 2 with another princess, in this case a Sheikha, which is a princess from the Middle East, and more particularly a Sheikha from Kuwait, Princess Sheikha Intisar Salem Al-Ali Al-Sabah. And she's an absolute force of nature for the work that she has done to bring a positive mindset to students and teachers in her country. She's founded many organizations and she has many organizations under her patronage. But the ones most relevant and the ones that we're talking about here are Barik. So that's B-A-R-E-E-C, Barik. And the other one is Al-Nowair, and you write that A-L-N-O-W-A-I-R, which are two charitable organizations really focused on bringing happiness to people, each in their own way. And it's all about a positive mindset. And first of all, I was amazed that I got a yes from the team of the Sheikha to talk to us. And then that interview just blew me away. And it was live streamed on the WISE channel. So we will include the link in our show notes. So you can basically see what it all looked like and how it all took place. But I was so struck by her willingness to make people think and feel better, as well as her openness in the process. Because, she wants to share with people so they feel better themselves, or they can use what she shares to build themselves up. So it was really amazing to speak to her. It was really good. The first interview I had on day 2 of the summit, and she came with a small team. And there's the reel also made, because it's very typical from the Middle East. So the people were extremely friendly, extremely warm, very kind, and but it's such a different world again from where I'm based, and kind of, going through all of those things. So we'll be sure to include all the links to reels and interviews there. And I really hope you enjoy this interview with the Sheikha Intisar Salem Al-Ali Al-Sabah.
This episode of the Teach Pitch podcast was recorded at the World Innovation Summit for Education, WISE, in Doha on December 9th, 2021. We are extremely grateful to the Qatar Foundation and WISE team who supported and sponsored us in bringing this together. More information about the WISE Summit can be found on their website, wise-qatar.org. Thanks a lot, WISE.
A very good morning to all of you. It is day 2 of the 10th edition of the World Innovation Summit for Education here in Doha. And we are talking to you online through a dedicated digital platform, but also here live at the Qatar Convention Center. We're hearing from education leaders, policymakers, innovators, and practitioners. And I have the great honor to be sitting here next to Her Highness Sheikha Intisar Salem Al-Ali Al-Sabah.
That was a fantastic pronunciation. I like the fact that you can pronounce that. That's remarkable.
Oh, thank
you for that.
I practiced a little bit.
I know, I can tell.
Right.
Thank you for that. That's why I'm thanking you.
So a very warm welcome to you.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for saying yes to this interview, Your Highness. It's such a great honor you were willing to talk to us. The work you have done through organizations such as Barik and Al Noir is
See, you've been practicing so well. Thank you.
I really like how you seek to creatively use something like confidence and happiness to build people's spirits and make them feel good about themselves. And I think that's such a powerful statement. I think many things of the work you've done through these organizations stand out, but particularly what you do for children, how they should cope with things like bullying, I think is very significant. Well, let me start there by thanking you, but also asking you a question about where we are today in our mindset, because we did a great opening plenary yesterday and we spoke about mental health.
Yes.
And some say we're currently in a bit of a mental health crisis.
Opportunity. And, you only get opportunities after you realize the pain.
Mm-hmm.
And COVID-19 made everyone around the world, without exception, feel the pain of stress,
Mm-hmm.
anxiety, fear, loneliness, detachment. And these are basically the things we've been working on in Barik and Nuwerd. And we started by wanting to market positivity in Kuwait because we saw that there was a huge number of people who felt unhappy, didn't see hope for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started Nuwerd, it was a crazy idea, and it was on the 19th of March, 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Innovative idea, crazy idea.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I'm flying with it.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, it was something very strange. Like, why are you talking about positivity? Don't you see reality?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yes, reality is how you see it.
Mm-hmm.
Some people see reality as an opportunity, and some people see reality as a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so from starting Nuwerd and then all the successes we had, Barik came about. And Barik came about for education. How do you instill hope? How do you instill optimism? How do you instill joy and fun in a classroom?
Yeah.
Because as we all know, we learn when we're having fun.
Yeah.
I am not able to learn when I'm stressed.
Yeah, no, me neither.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, we know that, okay?
Yeah.
So why don't policymakers know that?
Yeah.
Why don't educators know? Why don't schools know? Why don't ministries of education know that stressing students is not the thing that brings out the best of them? They don't acquire knowledge by being stressed and anxious and scared. They acquire knowledge by having fun.
Yeah.
By having passion.
Yeah.
And so that's what we do.
Could you give an example of how you changed such a mindset, going from the glass is half empty to the glass is half full, so that people see that opportunity?
So what we do basically, we do it in a very simple way, but it's a 360 degree.
Okay.
So we do exercises in class.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an exercise a week that the students have to do, and it can be in any subject. So I'll give you one of the exercises. One of the exercises is throughout the week. You look around in your school and find things that you find are pretty nice, beautiful, good. So you start looking for the good things.
Mm-hmm.
So and they discuss it throughout the class. So people will come, and it's like a 5-10 minute exercise. So the students will come and say, "Oh, this is beautiful in the school. This is nice," and they start looking at the good things in life, as opposed to what we, unfortunately, a lot of us are so inclined to look for the bad, and we've almost like etched it in our minds that we look for the bad. It's like looking at paper. Do you see the dot or do you see the white paper?
Yeah.
So with time, with the different exercises, we get them to see the white paper as opposed to just the dot or the dots. They could be dots, but there is more white than dark.
Oh, nice.
And so that's what we do with our exercises, our tools. Small things that together, change the students' thinking, change even the teachers, because we implement all the exercises on the teachers before they can implement them on the students. So we actually make the teachers as students. It's a very innovative way of doing things.
It is.
And it's very simple. And the reason it's so successful, it's so simple. We don't need to reinvent the wheel.
No. It reminds me a little bit of kind of zooming out. Kind of, it's not, don't focus on that one spot. See the big picture. Look at it from a holistic perspective. You strike me as someone extremely active, and your record shows it. So many organizations, work that you've done on so many levels. Also, someone who will go to great lengths to change the status quo.
I like the way you said it. I just think of myself someone when I don't like something and I have an opportunity to change it. I do it for me.
You do it for you. Okay.
I do it for me.
Okay. Yeah.
That's it. Because I don't like it.
Yeah. And have you ever been in a situation where you felt maybe a little bit limited? Because
of course, I'm always limited, but I'm always very strong, and there's lots of possibilities. Nothing's ever 100% either side.
Yeah.
When you were talking about the glass half empty or the glass half full, I'll give you my take on that. There's enough in the glass for today. Tomorrow, something else will happen. So I'll drink the glass. I'll enjoy the glass. However much there is in the glass, I'll enjoy it. And then tomorrow,
that's beautiful.
It might get full. It might get half full. It might get a quarter full. I'll get more tomorrow. So that's my motto.
Live today.
Live, enjoy today. Tomorrow will just be better and better and better. And with positive psychology and all the research, the better it gets, the better it gets. It's like your mind. The more, the better you see things, the better they become.
I definitely think it is, but it is, of course, maybe it's a little bit of skepticism, or maybe if you
skepticism is self-inflicted pain.
And there's ego in there.
When you say skepticism, think of a time where you were skeptic and you felt good. One time.
No, it doesn't exist.
Exactly. So why inflict pain on ourselves? And when I started, people, even my brother would say to me, "Oh, you're like an ostrich. You put your head in the sand." And I couldn't understand why he said that. And then I said, "Why do you keep saying that?" He said, "Because you don't see reality." And to me, I could perfectly see my reality, not his. So I felt happier than he did. So I'm going to stay being happy, because my reality is just so much better than others.
And there's almost a sense of kind of self-worth in there, that you need to know who you are yourself, know your own reality. And then once you have that understanding, you can control it a little bit better. I don't think everyone, specifically children, might not have an understanding of that yet. It's like, who am I, right?
Do they need to know who they are as much as do they need to see the best in everything? And seeing the best in everything and everyone automatically makes you see the best in yourself. There's a lot of philosophy, but there's a lot of facts too. Is when you believe in the ability of others to do great things, automatically it's almost like a reflection of what you think about yourself. So one of the things we always say to the students is start looking for the good. The more you start looking for the good things, the more you start opening your eyes to the beautiful things around you, whatever they are, your teachers, your school, your country, your home. One of the exercises that we do is they have to go home and they have to ask their parents or their grandparents about what is the first word they said when they first started speaking, what's the thing that they like to eat the most? It's almost like connecting with the parents again.
Yeah.
And then they start saying the nice things about the parents, because the parents, when you ask a parent, if I ask my mother, what was the first word I said? There is a joy in that conversation, right?
Yeah.
And so you build a bridge that sometimes is non-existent, because we work with high schoolers. And high schoolers, this is a time where they have to be rebellious, they have to find their identity, there's hormones surging, they really don't like their families, they don't like grown-ups. And so we build bridges, and the more bridges they can build with others, the more they like others, and automatically the more they like themselves.
Nice. Yesterday at the opening plenary, you said something very compelling, because of course the theme is to unmute the next generation. And
I got a lot of applause for that.
Yeah, no, but you and I was one of the people applauding very loudly. I will tell you, because you basically suggested that it would be a good idea for
students to get up and teach every day.
Yeah,
a different student. Yes.
And or very practically, just at the end of the day, have one student come back to the teacher or go in front of the class and convey his or her understanding of what was taught that day.
Exactly.
And which I think is such a practical, concrete example of what you could do. Yeah. And so my hat's off to you for that suggestion. And I hope that this Wise on Air conversation is being picked up by people.
Do encourage your students to give or repeat the lesson in their way. We might learn new things, or not we might. Definitely we learn new things. And I'll tell you where that thought came from. So we implement the exercises of the program on the teachers themselves before they go and implement them on the students. And this way we get to know that the teachers really understand what the exercise is, and they feel it. If they don't feel it, they cannot pass it on.
Yeah.
So we had, and we do discussion sessions, and we had a teacher who was quite annoyed, and he had a couple of teachers with him in that school who pulled out of the program, because one of the things that we do during the training is make one of the teachers a teacher and the rest of the teachers students.
Okay.
Yeah. And he was quite offended that he had to be a student.
Yeah.
Very offended. And so were the other few people, maybe 2 or 3 with him, and they pulled out of the program. We are teachers. We are not students. Why do you treat us as students? And I was looking at him, and I was like, really? This is shocking. This is annoying. And so the other teachers told them, but that's how we learn.
Yeah.
But this is normal. So the other teachers got to, again, that's what I'm saying, is if one person, or let's say the student, comes up and starts telling the rest of the students how to learn or how to acquire the information of that lesson, number one, the student gains courage, gains self-confidence. Teacher gains different pathways of how to pass the information.
Yeah.
And as I said yesterday, it has to be without an ego. So how do you sort of dilute the ego?
Yeah.
Because you still need ego.
Yeah.
How do you dilute the ego that the teacher will enjoy acquiring knowledge from the student, and the student will enjoy passing on feedback?
Yeah. My suggestion to that would be, I like what you say about diluting the ego, is by making it a very simple procedural step.
Exactly.
So, don't say it's teacher A or student B. No, just say at the end of the day, one student
every day,
randomly chosen will give feedback to the teacher. And if the student at the beginning of the day knows that he or she is tasked with that, and that the student changes as well as the teacher changes, then no one will take personal offense.
So it has to be has to be consistent, because that's the way to get change.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like with our exercises. If we did one exercise every 2-3 weeks, you don't get change. It's like every week, and for the students every day, until both are happy with it.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, that's again a very good suggestion. I
would like to suggest that to all ministers of education.
If you're listening,
if I can have one call of action, is to allow students to actually give feedback, but also to demonstrate their knowledge of the assignment or the class for today.
Yeah.
And they'll be able to give more insights to other students who are the same age, more similar in thinking about how to get the knowledge of the work that was done today than a teacher who, even if they're 5 to 6 years older, still it's almost like another generation.
Yeah. Very good suggestion. Ministers of education, teachers, if you are listening, please take us up on this, and you can email myself or the organizations of Your Highness for more information.
Yes, please.
Potentially. I really appreciate your tremendous openness, and 100% agree that openness will help others to cope with struggles as well. And we've already spoken a lot about it, about opportunity. And was there a specific moment in time when you decided to adopt this level of openness or has it been a personal trait?
We're delving very deep. Okay. So I hated being vulnerable because I felt very weak. And I think the moment came, I think it's a path that I went through. And the path was to do things that made me feel better. And to also, one of the things, I think the most things, was to acknowledge my attributes.
Okay.
And that's one of the exercises we do in Bariq also, to acknowledge our strengths and the things we like about ourselves. And I had to do that exercise. I acknowledged very little first time and a little bit more second. And the more I did that exercise, the more I realized I have a lot going for me. And the more I realized I have a lot going for me, the less I was critical of myself and the more trusting I was of my ability. And with that trust, automatically, I'm no longer scared of people.
Yeah.
I can't remember a day or a time. It was more of a transition from fear thinking. And fear thinking is, I'm afraid I don't have what it takes. Imposter syndrome, because I had that a lot. What if someone says something to me and I don't know how to answer them back? What if someone wants to hurt me and I don't know how to defend myself? So it's all connected. And then one day I realized, oh, I do have what it takes. If I don't have it fully, I do have partially. And I think the exercises that, that universe gives you are smaller ones, and then they get bigger and then they bigger and bigger. And I got to a place where I'm fine with whatever comes my way. I know how to handle it. But that also came with a lot of insights about my abilities and about my fortitude. I think more than anything else. So the vulnerability becomes normal. I don't consider it, I don't consider it vulnerability as much as I consider it things that I thought were bad. And now they're, I'm just a human being.
Yeah. And I think as an additional incentive, I would say that by defining these attributes, as you say, you're also helping others, right? And by going public with them, because then that also helps other people acknowledge what they do well, and they start also building confidence, which they need for that opportunity.
I agree totally. And the more I'm proud of what I do, it's so interesting that the more I have pride in myself, the more I see it in others, the more I see the amazingness of others, the gorgeousness of others and others' ability. And the more I'm in that mood to collaborate all the time and to grow them, because I know when they grow, I grow. So it's all connected. The more you like yourself, automatically, the more you like others. The more you trust yourself, you trust others.
That's, 100%. And I think also the other way around, what you just said about, has there ever been a moment where you were skeptic and you felt happy that doesn't understand? I think people who are making derogatory comments to others,
they're just in pain.
Yeah, they're not in a happy place
I used to be very critical, and I used to be not critical, cynical. I used to love being so cynical and so sharp-witted. And I used to think that was so strong. I find that so weak now. Because being cynical and putting people down, even in my mind, now when I see myself doing it, it's like, why are you doing that? People are gorgeous. Let's look for the good things in that person. And so I switch. Because I know now that when I'm being cynical, it's fear-based. It's because I don't feel worthy. So I have to put people down. And so what I do is I turn it and I start looking at the best in them. I put them up and I automatically uplift myself too.
Very strong, and I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
And to get to that, you have to really delve really deep inside yourself and see why.
Yeah.
Why? What is the reason I want to put that person down?
Yeah. You. I think you become more conscious of it, and yes, I think it's very good that you basically say, okay, I'm getting snappy. So what's wrong with me?
Exactly.
Right?
I do this all the time.
Bring it back to you.
And it was funny because I used to be very angry. I used to be a very angry person. And now I hardly get angry. And when I'm angry, it's like I'm laughing, like, wow, I'm angry. Wonder what happened.
Yeah.
And I start going back and what is it that triggered me?
Yeah.
And then start working on that. Not on that person, because no one can trigger you when you're in a good place.
Yeah. Very strong, and thank you so much for sharing that. You've been very active in also using media. You've written several books. You've made several movies, also to help people. What is it about media that you feel can help us? And also, what is your opinion on social media?
Oh, I love social media. Okay, let me tell you the story of me and social media. So I was on Facebook, and then I started 2012 on Instagram. Not sure. I didn't want to put my face, and I just put my bag, and I used to put my bag in different places and do funny writing about my bag. And then I started putting myself in pictures, and then I realized this is fun. And in the beginning, I used to be so scared that people would do, like bully me on Instagram or say snide remarks or anything like that. And in the beginning, I did get a few, not many. And with time, I hardly, and I have an open Instagram, like completely open. And I hardly ever censor my Instagram anymore. People just love it.
Yeah.
And it's what my intention is, I think. Yeah. And it's what my belief is.
Yeah.
I believe that I'm having fun with Instagram.
Yeah.
And I believe people having fun with me.
Yeah.
So I don't get any trolls. Yeah. People are just so loving because I'm loving. Yeah. So don't you think the world is a true reflection of yourself?
Yeah.
So when I get a remark, it's okay, so where am I feeling that for someone to highlight it to me?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the nice thing about being on social media and showing or being fully present in social media, and I get it over and over and over again in all the comments and messages I get, is I inspire people.
Yeah.
I inspire them to have fun. I inspire them to smile. I inspire them to do better in life because, yes, I do like having fun, but I also do a lot of good.
Yeah.
And so this combination of someone who really is carefree, but is a doer is a very interesting combination.
Yeah.
That is quite rare. And so it inspires people to have fun when they're doing.
Yeah.
Not do and have fun.
No.
But have fun when they're doing. Yeah. And I really enjoy my life, and I'm so glad that people see it because this is me.
Yeah.
And one of my strengths is this is me. What you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And that is the biggest strength I have. That's why no one can trip me.
Yeah. No, this is amazing. There's also a great degree of authenticity and integrity to how you do things, including the use of your social media. And I think that's what people feel, and that's what people pick up on.
Because I don't like playing games.
Yeah, well, exactly.
The more I love life, the less I'm inclined to play games.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't have time to play games. No. I'm too busy enjoying life.
Yeah. Well, that's a beautiful message, and you've given us so many beautiful messages.
Thank
and
you.
I could talk for hours with you some more. So I hope you most definitely will, and that you will talk to more people here at WISE.
I loved it.
I would like to thank you really from the bottom of my heart for building people's spirits, and I hope you will continue on this quest through your organizations in Kuwait, but also in other places all over the world. Thank you so much for this interview, Sheikha Intisar Salem Al Ali Al Sabah.
Thank you so much, and I would like to thank WISE for an amazing, spectacular work and all the things that happen after, not only during. Or before, but all the changes that happen after. And I know just by being with WISE this year, Bariq is going to have a lot of horizons open up.
Yeah.
So for that, I am really blessed and I'm really honored. And thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much.
If you liked this episode of the Teach Pitch podcast, then it would mean the absolute world if you could share it with your friends and or give it a short review on your preferred podcast platform. The more you share your ideas about these interviews, the more people will find out about them. So do let us know what you think. We'd be very, very grateful.
Special thanks to Kevin MacLeod for our beautiful theme music, Le Grand Chase. This podcast was produced and edited by Natalie Piles. Project coordination by Inva Cheney.